Today, I'm going to be using the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra as my only computer, so I'm ditching my laptop and desktop PC just for this, and using this for everything, and honestly, I've got no idea if it's actually going to hold up. Now this phone is definitely not cheap, but I'm very impressed with it so far as a phone. But can it be more than that? So I'm going to put it through a real day doing real world tasks, and then push it to the extreme and see how far it can possibly go. So let's see how I get on. So my day started off just like every other, except this time, today, this was going to be my only device that I can use, the Z Fold 8 Ultra. It started by waking me up, opening up the blinds, and then I got off to my office to do some work. That work ended up being a triple doom scroll because the Z Fold 8 Ultra's got such a big screen, you can open up 3 apps, possibly more at once. And the 3 apps I chose were Instagram, TikTok and X, for a triple doom scroll first thing in the morning. I mean, yeah, I suppose it's good to get it all out of my system first thing in the morning, but it's how I started my day. Productivity is really where the Z Fold 8 Ultra starts to shine. You can open up multiple windows, split screen apps, I can have my emails on one side and the script for this video on the other, and it just makes multitasking so much easier. Honestly, my iPhone brain could not comprehend all of this. So when I'm replying to emails, I do actually prefer not using the split screen keyboards. I know some people like that, but I just never got used to it. I even messed around and tried to use the phone in a kind of laptop mode. Laptop? Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, let's not do that. Anyway, I finally knuckled down and actually got some proper work done, and I was actually starting to get used to it. I was getting through all of my emails and everything that I needed to do, but then something unexpected happened. See, I've never had a foldable phone before. Where's the earpiece speaker? How am I meant to speak to people on the phone? Hello? Has Samsung forgot the one thing that this is meant to be? Can you actually hear me?
I can hear you perfectly clearly.
Of course they haven't, and I was able to do phone calls no problem with the phone unfolded. Next, I got bored of typing and I decided to try something different. Rather than typing, why can't I just use my S Pen to write some notes? What? Well, it didn't work. Does the S Pen not work? That is a massive missed opportunity in my opinion, and I really hope the next one has got S Pen support because it's such a good size screen. Why can't I write on it? One thing that made it challenging to work on this phone was the fact that Google Chrome did not support desktop browser extensions. I have quite a lot of essential extensions, so using a stripped down version of Google Chrome was not great. I installed Firefox to try and get some browser extensions there, but it was a very limited number. So with that, it was now lunchtime. I flipped up the screen and watched some YouTube, and it was pretty good. Although leaning over and looking at the small phone screen really did start to hurt my back and neck after a while. After lunch, I was still not in the mood to type, so I actually decided to record some voice notes. And thanks to Galaxy AI, it can actually summarize those voice notes into bullet point notes. This is also all done on device, so it's not done in like a cloud or a data center somewhere. All of the AI is done on the device itself, which is quite good. So far then, things were going pretty well. I even decided to take an afternoon scroll and actually do some work outside. Now, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I think the Z Fold 8 Ultra has actually got an anti-reflective coating on the screen, because I was able to use it out in bright sunlight, no problem at all. The crease is barely visible either, but I'll be interested to see what the crease looks like in 6 months' time. Now, since this is quite an expensive phone, and also my first foldable, I obviously want to keep it protected. And that's where today's sponsor, Supcase, comes in with their UB grip case. This case gives a nice, tough, rugged, all-round protection, not only protecting the front and the back, but also the hinge and screen too. The case is very grippy, and I have no concern that I'll drop my phone with this case on. However, if I do, it does have 4 anti-collision corners to hopefully cushion its fall and keep it protected. On the back, there's also a fold-out kickstand, which is great for holding up your phone. It's also magnetic and compatible with MagSafe accessories too, which is ideal since Samsung still can't work out how to add MagSafe to their phones. But the best part is the tempered glass screen protection, which not only protects the screen from scratches, but you also have an option for a privacy screen protector too, just like on the S26 Ultra, except a bit more permanent. But this is great if you're out in public and don't want people around you to see what's on your screen. So if you're looking for an extra strong case for your Z Fold 8 Ultra, then check out the Supcase UB grip case, and I'll leave it in the video description. And thank you to Supcase for sponsoring this video. Right, now it was time to step things up and do some proper work. So far all I'd done was just mess around checking emails, writing documents and checking Discord messages, but I needed to do some proper work, and in order to do that I needed a computer-like experience. So luckily Samsung phones come with this thing called Samsung DeX, which what you can do is actually connect your phone to a keyboard, mouse, a monitor, and you can use it as an actual computer. Let me show you. And surprisingly, it actually worked really well. The Z Fold 8 Ultra has got a USB 3.2 port this time, which means it can actually output to the full ultra-wide 1440p monitor that I had. I was pretty surprised. This is honestly amazing. Like, we've got a full desktop experience. All of our apps just seem to transform into draggable windows. This is massively going to change how I work now for the rest of the day. And I needed all the help that I could get because the first challenge was to edit some video. Now on Android, we don't have DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere Pro. We've got CapCut. So let's try and edit with that. I even plugged in my external SSD. Okay, this is becoming more and more like a laptop. And I was actually starting to get the hang of using CapCut. Sure, it's not optimized for keyboard and mouse or Samsung DeX, but for some basic cutting together of clips and some transitions, it was perfect for this video, which if you're wondering, was me flying a plane at the weekend for the first time. Right, so the next challenge I've got to do is I've got to make a thumbnail for this video. Although there is a version of Photoshop for Android, Photoshop Express, it's not very good. It's basically just like Instagram. Like, what is the point of this? It's good for basic editing, but it's not good for thumbnails. And I actually had a PSD file on my external SSD that I needed to edit, and I had nothing to open it with. But that's when I did some research and found an online alternative to Photoshop called Photopea. And to be honest, it's exactly like Photoshop. Oh, this is brilliant. We might actually be able to make the thumbnail on the device itself. Right, give me a couple of minutes. Let's see what we can do. So I got to work making some thumbnails with Photopea. And yeah, it is exactly like Photoshop. There are adverts on the side, but with an ultra-wide monitor, you barely notice them. All the functionality's there, and I actually came up with some pretty decent concepts. But yeah, some solid thumbnail concepts for this video, made on the phone itself. I completely forgot that I was using a phone. Once I'm using my keyboard, mouse, monitor, it doesn't really matter what I'm using. As evening set in, it was now time to unwind and do some gaming. Despite the productivity benefits of Samsung DeX, it can also run games. And games like Minecraft actually support keyboard and mouse too. And it runs perfectly on the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 processor within this phone. And yeah, straight away, we've even got vibrant visuals. It's looking really nice. I can't tell you exactly how it's performing. We don't have like an FPS counter or anything. Take my word for it. It feels really smooth. We've got vibrant visuals running, which not all phones can run. So it's good to know that we've got that. We've got it outputting to a huge 1440p ultra wide. I'm not noticing any stuttering or lag spikes or anything like that. It's loading in new chunks perfectly fine. Yeah, if you wanted to do some light gaming on this setup, then you definitely can. Since I saw the new Spider-Man film, all I've wanted to do is play Spider-Man Remastered. Now this is quite a demanding game, even for a PC, but can I get it to run on the Z Fold 8 Ultra? This is going to be very challenging and could potentially overheat the phone. We're probably going to need to take off our case for this. Sorry Supcase, but we're going to need all the cooling we can get. But given the link between this phone and the new Spider-Man film, I found it only fitting that we should try this. Let's see if this phone can actually do it. So I loaded up the game, not expecting much, but then it actually started to load. And it continued, and then finally actually loaded into the game. Now yeah, we are on super low settings, but it's actually running on the phone. If anyone's actually watched the new Spider-Man film, Brand New Day, I mean, it's basically just a Samsung Galaxy paid promotion, isn't it? They're all using Samsung phones, and I noticed BMW was also heavily product placed in that film as well. Okay, we're starting to lag a little bit here. 11 frames. Can we make it? So we're not actually in full screen mode right now. I'm not sure if I want to try it. I think it might just burn the phone. It might just get way too hot. Right, let's try and do a fighting scene here and see if we can actually do it. We are in the easiest difficulty as well, by the way, just because the frame rate really isn't the best. If you're wondering, this is what the frames looked like. Yeah, not the best, but for a phone, incredibly good. And I really hope one day this will run and also be somewhat playable. But for the 10 FPS and dropping that I was getting, the game eventually crashed and I couldn't play it anymore. So I headed home from the office, ready to start my evening. I'd pretty much completed the working day and the phone did really well. Now all I did was just made dinner and I tested out the cameras. That's about the level of photography that I do on my phones. I'm by no means a professional photographer. I even did mess around and do like the selfies with the rear cameras. You can do that. The real question is though, can this actually replace my computer? No, to be honest, I think it gets about 80% of the way there. Obviously there's stuff like video editing, Photoshop that I rely on quite a lot. There's also some gaming as well in there. Even though I'm not too much of a gamer anymore, I can't really be playing at sort of 13 FPS when I want to play like a AAA game. But maybe for some people out there, it may completely replace their PC if their needs aren't as great as mine. Anyway, for the rest of my day, I did some more triple doom scrolling and then I went to bed. Make sure to like and subscribe because then Samsung may notice me and invite me to their next event so I can make some more interesting videos.